What is the timeline for the Technopole in terms of next steps?
So we're starting work on sort of drawing up the plans and access to funding and so forth. And so it'll partly be decided by central government on when we get the cash. We can certainly expect some conversations. One of the questions is whether we can start small with, say, $500,000 a year, which would be relatively easy to access, or slightly surprised to be asked whether we should put in a bid of 160 million, which is, to be honest, more than I was expecting. But maybe we cover both bases. So.
Yeah. And will the existing science parks in the region, is it sort of collaborate, not compete?
Absolutely so. So in fact, the LEP has invested very heavily in science parks, innovation centres, etc. So what I'm part of my hope for this is that it would encourage use not as permanent residents, but to use the facilities, the 3D printing, the labs, the clean rooms, because you bring together a broader community to make them aware of the facilities that are available. And so hopefully you increase usage at a time when obviously that may be under some pressure after COVID.
Sorry, Siobhan, I jumped in front of you there, I think.
No, Dan, that's fine. I actually wanted to make a comment and then build on a point that you and Vanessa have made, actually. Stuart, that's really, really interesting. And I'm really glad that you talked about planting the seed for future entrepreneurship. I mentor for the Prince's Trust and for Plymouth University, and I love mentoring these students, but they don't see themselves as entrepreneurs. They might have brilliant ideas and tremendous ambitions, but they just don't see themselves in that way. And their first businesses may or may not succeed, but planting that seed, I think, is just brilliant and a fantastic way to go. My question, though, builds on the appetite for R&D. So I'm fortunate in that I've got clients all across the country, and I've got networks across the country. And elsewhere, particularly in the Northeast, the Northwest, the Midlands, the concept of R&D as a way to access growth, to move from pre-startup to startup or to scale up or whatever that particular business ambition is really grounded in the business community. People talk about it all the time. Advisors, Vanessa's mentioned, advisors being the gateways. Advisors know that this is an option and this is a route to that scaling up. But we just don't see it down here, and there's no chatter about it. And I think a lot of businesses just don't even know that it's an option. So, it's clearly not happening, and it's just not on people's radars. And I'm really interested in what you said about that environmental intelligence, because I don't have a single client at the moment who isn't talking about their environmental responsibility, their carbon footprint, UN sustainability goals, and looking at what they're going to do in the future to make sure that when the time comes that these goals become legislative, they are ahead of the game. And so kind of building that R&D into those environmental hooks surely is a really good way of wakening everybody up to something they're already thinking about, and actually seeing R&D as a gateway to being successful in the future. So I'd love to hear whether that's part of the plans, and whether you're talking about smaller businesses as well as the larger ones. It's a long question, sorry. A lot to say.
It's a really great question, thank you. And so picking up various threads within it, I'd come back to our survey work with entrepreneurs showed they weren't motivated primarily by money, they're motivated by changing the world. And frankly, if anyone came to me and said, I want to be an entrepreneur because money is the most important thing to me, I'd say, no, go and become an accountant or a doctor or a lawyer. You're guaranteed a very nice income, very low risk, compared with being an entrepreneur, signing personal guarantees, paying everyone before you pay yourself, minimizing your income because you want to invest in your company. It's clear that to motivate people who are potential entrepreneurs, we need to show what you can achieve through entrepreneurship and showing how you can help reduce carbon footprint, tackle climate change, tackle discrimination, solve problems, reduce inequality. These are the things which motivate people who are the people who will go to build things.